So good afternoon, February the 3rd, 2015. This is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Life. Today is day number 9 into week number 5. So let's get started. Welcome back. We have 3 students today, except for Lucas, who seems to be coming but a little bit late. So if you look at the calendar, this is week number 5 into the semester. Now, week number 5 indicates a new beginning in the according to the schedule of the work, because last week marks the end of the first learning contract, and so now it's the beginning of the second learning contract. Okay, so I hope you've done your work in the first learning contract, but not as soon as possible to submit them. Okay, so that is the beginning of the second learning contract. This learning contract lasts for 3 weeks. But in the context of collecting your work, I'll give you full 4 weeks time. Okay, so it's the contract based on the theme of self-regulated learning. Now, SRL is what we call is an added context for inquiry-based learning. It requires inquiry-based learning, but on top of that, you also need some self-management skill, managing your time, managing your goals, managing some housekeeping chores in the context of teamwork. So you have to learn quite a lot of things. SRL requires each one of you to set goals in your learning. That means you do not just spend time doing your homework without understanding the meaning behind this. You need to be conscious of the goals of your learning. So now, to put it in a very simple example, the goals of your second learning contract is to accomplish something similar to the first learning contracts based on the idea of inquiry-based learning. But on top of this, you also need to demonstrate some skills on self-regulated learning, such as setting the goals, expressing the goals very clearly, understanding the timeline, that means how much time you have to accomplish the goals, understanding the resources you have, what do you need to accomplish the goal. For example, your time, the collaborations with your partner, and the energies per week. Okay, so again, you need to go through reading for week number 5, reading for week number 6, and reading for week number 7. But you can also use the reading from week number 1 to week number 4. Okay, so it's really up to you. Again, you are only required to do one topic out of reading number 5, number 6, and number 7. Now, one topic means select one question, and underneath that questions, come up with your own topic sentence. Okay, so you always free to choose a topic of your interest under a specific context. And then, if I have not reminded you clearly, you can always come to Learn and Practice for Learning Contract 2, also Learn and Practice for Learning Contract 1, to get updated on the systematic curriculum, which is supposed to be done in a taught-to-learn course. What is meant by a taught-to-learn course? A teacher will stand in front of the class, guide you through the whole textbook. So if you like this approach, always come back to Learn and Practice. Here you have all the PowerPoints you need, all the suggested reading, and all the suggested exercise based on the textbook we choose. Okay? So if you forget about this, this is a very good resource. For example, in this particular learning contract, you're going to learn something on social network, enhancing blogs and podcasts. And then we have 3 specific PowerPoint prepared for you. So you can read through this, and you can come to the exercise, team, pair, and discussion questions then. Okay? And all of these are excellent resources based on the suggested reading list, as well as this, what we call topic breakdown list. Okay? Based on a few of the recommended text, which is available here. Okay, so it's very important that you know what to do in case you need help to get update on a specific topic. All of these references available in our library. So let's go back to the week number 5. Now let's come to week number 5, go to the teacher's message released earlier yesterday. So you can see that in the teacher's message, I specifically emphasized 4 important points on the SRL context, the self-regulated learning context. And all these 4 important points are related to the idea of task management, because basically you're going to accomplish something in your learning based on the number of tasks you can accomplish. And first of all, task management involves task analysis. It means you must understand what the requirements require of you and what you need to get done, okay? And in the context of the first learning contract, the 6 learning artifacts you need to submit towards the end of last Saturday, and then to do some pair-based discussions, and then to come up with your perspective in the context abroad. Now, in the second learning contract, on top of all of these, you need to demonstrate the skills of analyzing the requirements of the second learning contract based on your delineated learning goals. Okay, the delineated learning goals include, first of all, accomplishing what is expected, just like in the first learning contract, coming up with the learning artifacts. But coming up with the learning artifacts, it's too general to be acceptable. You need to understand what is behind the learning artifacts. Okay, so you need to understand the frameworks of your activity. This is something you need to come up with, and you need to have a timeline for your work. And also, in the context of working on the task, you need to identify the resources. Now, this is an important step. We have done something here last week in the context of information literacy. Remember the videos you see. How do you get started with a research assignment? And now that you know what you need, how do you get hold of the information, and how do you give credit to the sources? So basically, you need to demonstrate the skills here, identify the resources from the internet or from the library's databases, and then the second thing is, once you got the resources, how do you accomplish the task you were expected to accomplish before the end of the second learning contract? You need a plan for actions. For example, you need to have a meeting with your learning partner at least once a week, okay, physical meeting. And then you might have to talk to your learning partner during the evening through the Moodle environment, through the discussion forum. And then you have to come up with a review of the work done every Saturday. And you just have 2 or 3 Saturdays all together to get the second learning contract done. So how are you going to make the best use of time? And you look at the time management suggested in our syllabus. Do you remember the number of hours that is recommended for you? 6 hours per week. Okay, how do you divide the 6 hours per week? If you divide the 6 hours per week into 12 slots of 30 minutes, you have to do something 12 times during the week. Then if you divide this into 24 slots of 15 minutes, then you have to attend your work 24 times during the week, including reading, collecting information, writing, and discussing with your partner and getting things done. And these are what we call the possible resources you have to do. Just like, it's like a ticket. When you go to the canteen or when you go to the dining hall of the residential college, when you finish one meal, when you slash your card over there, 1 fewer meals will be left in your car because you use up the resources to have the dinner. Okay? So in the context of getting the job done here, I've just given you an example. It's really up to you that you want to do 6 hours, 6 1-hour period, 12 30 minutes period, 24 15 minutes period, or 48 7.5 minutes period. Do you understand what I mean? And if you have all those time slots here allocated for one course assignment, then you have to do something you have to measure the amount of time spent getting the work done. Without this measurement or experience, you can never tell if you will improve on the work done as of last time. That's why in the questionnaire, I think only one person did a questionnaire. I asked you, have you measured the time you spent during your first learning contract? Because you need that as a reference to compare to the second learning contract, because you're going to do something similar again. So, and if you did, how much time have you actually spent? And that is very important in terms of taking actions. If on average, it takes me 5 minutes to locate one important resource. That is 5 minutes, very important. If over the discussions of a particular work here, you need 5 such resources, you at least have to take 25 minutes to do that. And that's the estimated time required to get a piece of work done. And it takes, well, 6 rounds of online discussion to get the discussion finished. And each round of the discussions on average takes about 30 minutes. Now take a look at the amount of time you need to do in order to get the discussions done. So it's very important that you take actions and you keep track of the data. And that's what we call monitoring. You need to monitor if you have been efficient enough to get the work done. And after the assessment of your actions, including setting your goal, setting the timeline, measuring the time required, you might have to revise your work plan in order to adjust the amount of work that has to be done in order to get something completed. And so self-regulated learning requires 1, set goals. 2, understand the time required. 3rd, understand how much resources are important. 4, come up with a work plan. 5, effectuate on the work plan. 6, evaluate the progress because of the work plan. 7, revise the work plan if it's necessary. 8, come back to do the same set of cycles activity again using a finite number of milestones. For example, in the second learning contract, you have 3 weeks time to do it, and at most I say 4 weeks. So 4 weeks time to do the second learning contract, you can set 3 milestones at least. Once in the first 3 weeks, or once starting from the second week up to the very last week. So you have to learn how to do that. That is self-regulated learning. I remember asking you the questions in the questionnaire. Do you believe that in this course you have been given enough chance to manage the independent learning of your work? Now, in the first learning contract, I did not say anything like this. But in the second learning contract, that is how you manage the work. Okay? You need to have experience doing that. Okay? That is very important. Because if you do not do that, and if you do not keep that in mind, you will not have that experience to compare to something. You just go ahead and do it without much planning. And it's important that you carry that experience here as our average in our courses, because you can reuse the same set of skills to plan ahead. Now, many students, now what I did before, when I did a college study in 1 semester, I did more than 6 courses. And 6 courses is not going to work, because starting from the 3rd week of the semester, you will never stop doing anything until the end of the semester. You have to turn in homework for 1 subject, you have to sit for the quiz for 1 subject, you have to take notes, and you have 6 courses, and you have project, and they are just rolling like a snowball. They will never stop until the end of the semester. So you have to have some kind of strategies to set goals for this particular course. How do you set goals? If I want to get an A in a particular course, look at the requirements based on the course syllabus. How much I should have done with what grade, and what can I do to achieve that grade, and what other resources I need, how much time I need to spend per week. Now, these are something you need to put into practice in a second learning contract. But fortunately, you don't do it alone. You do it as a pair, okay? As a pair. So a lot of the things you share the burden with your learning partner. Okay, now, having said that, you please understand that you have a questionnaire to finish, and today is the very last day to finish the questionnaire. You remember? You just have to click this link, okay? Right here, or if you are on the front page of our Moodle environment, it is right here. You click this link, okay? Make sure Alice, Jack, Calvin, which is the 4th student here, Okay, I just got one response so far. So make sure you do the questionnaire before the end of today, okay? That it's today at 11:55, this questionnaire will close, okay? So it's very important. Now let's go back to week number 4 before we come to week number 5. Now week number 4, we do have date numbering. Remember, we pushed ahead date numbering into date number 7 last week because last Friday I was not here. And so I hope you did study again these 3 important lessons, okay? And here is also some kind of feedback from the students on understanding the importance of information literacy. And here is about tropes or video series and how you can use a traditional library to locate your resources. And now when we come to week number 5, that is the beginning of learning contract number 2. In order to understand better the meaning of self-regulated learning, I recommend that you click on this link, and here is a very important resources. It's a very good book, well, which teaches you the importance of self-regulations on your lifelong learning skills, okay? And particularly now in college education, you understand that the higher you go in your college year, the more work you have to do on the path of inquiry-based learning, and you need to learn how to manage your time into it, and this is a very good resource for that, okay? So just click on any of those links. You can help yourself understand better. Okay, so now, after that, if you look at the theme of day number 9, it's about blocking. So what is meant by a block? Okay, do you keep a block? Do you keep a block on your own? Do you have a block account? Okay, now, one of the requirements in getting through this is you need to create a blocker account to get started with your blocking. Okay, and just today, you need to learn how to start a block. And do you have a Google account? Okay, that's good. If you have a Google account, when you log into your Google account, one of the specific items there is called block. Just click on block, and you will go brought to the blocker account. And then you start to do a block by picking up the specifics. Now let me see if I can give you the basic here today. All right, let's go.
Hi everyone, hope you're doing fab. Today I have a highly requested video for you guys, and it is how to start your own blog, which is always very exciting. Excuse the sweaty face and messy hair, it is really hot outside, especially for autumn. I think it's like a heat wave kind of dying over here, so the sun is also shining directly kind of my way. So just bear with me, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video. To me, you have 2 platforms to kind of choose from, and that's Blogger and Wordpress. Now Wordpress, not the free Wordpress, but I would suggest the self-hosted Wordpress. Now there's quite a difference between these 2. I would, for anyone just starting out, starting a blog, I would always suggest Blogger. I was on Blogger for years, it was amazing. I would probably still be on there if it was not for another site I had on WordPress. So I kind of found it easier to have both of them on the same platform. But otherwise, Blogger has loads of perks. Obviously, it's free to sign up. It's very easy to do everything. They have all the templates for you, all of those things. So basically, you just need an email, you sign up with them, and everything's done for you. And there are loads of people that will use Blogger, even like big bloggers like Blair Edie from Atlantic Pacific. She still uses a Blogspot blog. Now, if you don't want your name.blogspot.com, you can also buy a domain name and actually integrate that with your Blogger. So it's still free, but it looks like a hosted site, and you can totally design Blogger just the way you want. So I think that is a pretty good option to start with. Now WordPress, you obviously need a lot more skill in HTML, the whole layout area is different. You'll have to pay to get your site hosted every month with a place like GoDaddy, for example, so that might be about $10 a month for that. Obviously you need to buy your name, your domain name for that, and it feels to me like it's a I love. You can have SEO tools, which is really good for search engine ranking and all of these things. And obviously you have like total freedom over what you want to do with your site. And I actually bought a template for mine, a plain template, so that was awesome to use that. Anyway, so first off, you need to choose between those two platforms. Now, when you're done choosing your platform and you actually want to sign up or get something going, get a domain name, you have to decide on a name. Now, to me, your name equals your brand if you're going to think in that direction. I know lots of people just want to start a blog for fun, but blogs can be businesses too, as you have seen with all the big bloggers. And I see nothing wrong in making some extra cash or all your cash with your blog if you can do that, if you're so lucky. So next up is your name. Now, it's very important not to choose like either a silly name or I can't even think of examples now. Something you feel that won't stay through time, something that'll just be for that year or that month that's in now. Don't call yourself Bieber Fever or something silly like that. That's obviously not going to work. I made that mistake and I chose Superficial Goals because my blog started out way back in like 2006, I think, as a gossip blog, and then it grew into something totally different. But then I had everything set up as Superficial Goals already, so I'm stuck with that name now that everyone knows. So choose or think a lot before you choose your name. If you've chosen your name, go register on whatever Blogger or WordPress, wherever you want your site, and then go and do your social media. Go to Twitter, get a Facebook page, Pinterest, YouTube, everywhere, and register that same name on all your accounts. Obviously, if you're going to choose something really popular, it's going to probably be taken already. So try and think about that. Be really creative and interesting with your name, and just go register everything, because you don't want to be stuck one day and you want to get a Twitter account after you thought, oh no, I'm not going to like Twitter. All of a sudden you like it, and your name has been taken by someone else, and people are replying that random person, thinking it's you. So that could be really awkward. Now that you have all of that sorted, you can go on to the layout of your blog. Now, there are loads of places you can get templates for Blogger, although Blogger has some awesome templates, especially the minimal ones I really enjoy. You can go and buy a template. There's loads of Etsy stores that have beautiful templates these days that come with headers and all sorts of things. You can have one designed for you if you have the money for that, or you can design it yourself, obviously on Photoshop or GIMP. On WordPress, if you have a WordPress site like me, I went to woothemes.com and I got myself a canvas theme, which is fully customizable. It cost $70, but it was totally worth it. But obviously, if you're on Blogger, you can just start out by designing your own header, a few buttons on the sidebar if you want, and all of that stuff. Background colors, all lots of fun, and there are loads of tutorials out there on how to do all of that. Now, when you're done with all your site goodies and it looks fantastic, you kind of need to put content in there, because obviously no one wants to read an empty blog because there's nothing to read. So then you have to start thinking what you want to put in there. Obviously, you have thought when you did your name or when you started your blog, you were like, I'm going to be a fashion blog, or I'm going to be a beauty blog, or a lifestyle blog that covers everything, or a food blog. There are so many things to choose from. So now you actually need to start with the content. Now I have Superficial Goals, which is kind of a lifestyle blog, but more towards the fashion side. I do have food and all sorts of things like that as well, but mostly I have my fashion goodies. Then I have Fab Guide, which is lifestyle. It's totally everything. There's recipes, there's outfits, there's shopping, there's beauty, all sorts of things, decor. And you need to decide what you want in your blog. So it kind of has a theme. Even lifestyle, it still has a theme. People know they can come to your blog for a whole bunch of things. So once you know that, and you specifically know what you want to write, you can start, and that's such a fun part. Are you going to do long blog posts? I know loads of people write like really long ones, and they're really well written if you're a good writer. If you're not a good writer, maybe do lists of things, like 10 things you love doing, 10 outfits you love, or 10 things to play together, whatever it might be. There's so many different ways to write blog posts. It doesn't always have to be full of text, but text is nice because obviously content is key when you want your blog ranked in search engines. And you can also decide how personal you want to be. Usually I like writing just like a tiny little bit, maybe about my day or something else, something personal sometimes, other times not. Some people decide to be totally anonymous, they don't want anything personal, which is fine as well. Maybe you have like a different view on things and people still find it interesting. So there's always a way to hook your audience. Then obviously photos. If you take your own photos, great, but make sure they are clear and pretty. You can even take photos with your iPhone or whatever type of phone you have, as long as they are clear. And if you really want to be serious about blogging, I would suggest getting a nice camera because they do take awesome photos. And photos, people love photos. Obviously, they want to pin photos and share photos. And if you have a Facebook page, they're going to like the photos, or on Instagram. So that's a really good thing to have. And if you use other people's photos, which a lot of people do, and which is fine as well, please remember to credit them, because there's nothing worse than seeing people's photos and they don't get the credit for it, even though they work really, really hard to put that out there. And I think if you take your own photos, you will actually know how hard that is. So that's definitely something to remember. Now that is all I'm going to talk about today, and in the next one I'm probably going to go a little bit more in detail with things and with SEO and how to monetize your blog and all kinds of things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will have a post up on Social Bills with all these points in kind of detailed form, so you can read and remember, and I'll have some links to where you can go get things. So anyway guys, have a lovely day, and I'll chat to you all soon.
Now, this lady has done a very good job in the context of showing you what are the basic steps in order to kick off your blogging. First of all, what do you need in order to start blogging? You need to choose a platform to post your blog. Okay? And the two basic platforms you can choose. One is the Blogger one, which is often free of charge. Now it's combo with your Google account. The other is the Wordpress. Now Wordpress, normally you have to pay for it because you need a host for your particular blogs. But there's some sites using Wordpress that could be free of charge, including the Emergent Wordpress account for each student at the University of Macau. As far as I know, perhaps by the end of this year, each student is going to be given a WordPress account, and then you can post your blogs there. But now, you already have the Mahara account. The Mahara account could enable you to do something similar to the blogging. Okay? So basically, as far as the platform is concerned, I would suggest that besides your Mahara account, you can try Blogger, because most of you have Google. So in order to try using the Blogger, we have another videos to show you. But the most important thing is here, what they say is, what are you going to plan to put into your blog? Okay? The contents, the photos, and the structure to stage your work. And normally, in the GE courses, we highly encourage students to start learning to pick up the habit of blogging using the Moodle environment. But you see that the blog functions in the Moodle environment is very baby. It's very primitive. Sometimes it does not have even the organizational facility. So it's very just like you type something, you include a photo, and you post it there, and then everything will be on a hierarchical format, last come, first out, something like that. And if you want to manage your previous blog, you have to scroll down, and that is very inconvenient, okay? And it's very hard for people to follow your blog. So that's why we say that it's highly recommended that you create an account in your Blogger platform, which comes automatically with your Google account. So how are we going to do blogging? Okay, that's Blogger. Okay, that is a very interesting 10 minutes video. Now, Alice, I know that you have to go by 2 o'clock. You can make yourself disappear, okay, when it's time comes, all right? Yes,
hello everyone, in this series of tutorials, I will show you how to create your own blog and how to adjust it however you like it. First of all, you will have to choose a blog site where you can create one. Well, I suppose that most of you want a free one, so in that case I recommend Blogger. Blogger is a site where you can create blog for your purpose. The interface is easy to use. You have many different options to make your blog look amazing. You can even earn with your blog. All you have to possess is a creativity, interesting theme, and other stuff, which is required for a successful blog. So in this series, I will show you how to create amazing looking blog. So let's start. First open Google and type in Blogger. Then click on the first link. Here all you have to own is a Google account. If you have one, you can simply sign in with it. If you do not own a Google account, simply click on Sign Up and fill the required information, and you will quickly create one. Then just use it to sign to Blogger page. I will use my existing Google account to sign in. So let's sign in. Now when you sign in for the first time, you will have to choose some options at the beginning. They are very simple. I am pretty sure that you won't have any problems with that. I do not have to do that because I didn't sign in for the first time. So when you sign in, you will see an interface like this one. At the upper right corner you can choose a language of your Blogger interface, and if you click on the button on the right, you will have the chance to use some more options. You can see the help informations or send a feedback and other options which are not important for now. At the bottom you have the latest news from Blogger. And under the new blog button, you have the choice to add the blog which you would like to follow. You can add them simply with a click on Add button. So now let's create a new blog. You can simply do that with button where is written New Blog. Click on it. Now you have the option to give a name of your new blog. If you want to do a blog about cooking, choose a creative and interesting name for it or for any other blog. So first give it a title. If you are not sure now, don't worry, you can change it later or whenever you want. Let's say that I want to write about cooking. Then write an address that is just what would be written in your link, which will lead the visitors to your blog. You can choose whatever you want. Then choose your blog template. Remember that you can adjust all of these settings in the menu later. So choose a template. And click on Create Blog. And officially you have created a blog where you have the option to write whatever you want and to share it with anybody. Now let's see how can you adjust the settings of your blog. So the font sizes and colors of the text in your posts, the title of your blog, and many more stuff. So whenever you want to create a new post, you will have to click on this button. We will explain it more in detail later. If you want to adjust your blog options, click on this button. So first let's explore settings. First we have basic settings. Here you can adjust the title of your blog with a simple click on Edit. After you change the settings, confirm the changes with a click on Save Changes. Then you can write the description of your blog with a click on Edit. As always, at the end, click on Save Changes. Then we can adjust the privacy. The default settings are obviously good. We can change the blog address, that is a place where your blog will be located. By the way, if you don't want to have a blogspot.com domain, you will have to pay for a .com or any other domain. Then we have an option to add a new authors of the blog. You can do that with a click on Add Authors button, and they will be able to post on your blog. The last option is to choose who can access your blog and your posts, so you can make it private and allow just the authors to see the content of it, or just the people which have your permission. Now let's explore the button, Posts and Comments. Here you have the ability to moderate all the comments on your blog, so you can adjust how many posts you would like to set to be visible per site. I will set to 10. Then the next three options are by default nicely set. On the next option, we can adjust who can comment on your posts. Then we have an option to, if we want to moderate comments. Here I suggest to you that you moderate all of the comments. So click on Always and enter a mail address where you will receive a mail if somebody commented on your blog, and you will be able to allow it or delete it. The last three options are not important at this point. Let's continue with button, mobile and email. First you will have to save your work with clicking on button, Save Settings. Now click on mobile and email. The first option is pretty much useless. Then we have the option to write the email addresses, which will be notified when a new comment is applied. You can write up to 10 email addresses, and when a new comment is applied, all of them will be notified. Be careful to separate the emails with commas. Now the last option is to add email addresses, which would be notified about your new posts. So whenever you create a new post, all the emails which are added in this box will be notified about that. Again, click on Save Settings, and let's continue with Language and Formatting. Here you can choose a language of your Blogger interface. Then we have options to adjust time, date, and so on. Choose the one which won't be double-edged. Save the changes and open Search Preferences. Here you can enable a search description, which will be used in the search purposes. With other options, we won't be dealing right now. Go and open the last option under Settings bar, which is Other. Here we have the option if we want to delete our blog. You can do that with click on Delete Blog. With other options, we won't be dealing at this point. You can even export and import a blog. Now again click on Save Settings, and let's continue with other options.
I think this very brief video has given you a very good head start onto what exactly looks like in the blogger's site. And the second video, definitely, continuing with the first one, which I've already provided here, is a free park series. I would expect each one of you finish watching the free videos, okay? And please go ahead and create a blogger account. Get ready for your blog, okay? So it's very important because now in Google environment, there are many good tools that we can use, and one of these is the blogger. And once you have already tasted the blogger's features, and you do not want to go back to the Google environment blog, except for just for a purpose, okay? And this is something you need to learn how to use. It's free of charge, and it's very good if you have a communities of, for example, the RC. I would highly recommend that you have your club, student club of any interest, create a group blog, and then you can promote your art to your fellow students using that. Okay, now that is a very interesting step. Another thing that I want you to learn is the wiki. There's something very interesting. The blog, it's basically like an editor. Okay, the tool is just like an editor. You added something, and then you create something, including graphic, and you post it. Now, depending on the environment there, mostly it is done by an individual. Okay, a blog is done by an individual because it's owned by an individual. But now, in the blogger's side, there are also blogs which could be managed by a group. It's a group blog. Okay, but in the past, when we talk about group things, we talk about is a web environment where more than one person can get online and do things together, and we often call this wiki, because wiki is basically a web system which allows collaboration between people doing things at the same time. Okay, so we have already done a lot of very good things in the wiki and in Classroom, and let me see if I can produce this for you to see. I hope this is short enough. If not, yes, it's a little long here. Let's see. This is discussions about. Okay, yeah, this is not good. This is a conference presentations. Let's see. Okay, let's try to use this one to see if this works. Yeah, this is good.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Friedberg.
You can see, you can have some understanding on the combined features between blogs and wikis in this very interesting video. It takes a while because I've opened up a lot of windows in my computer. So let's go back. When I mentioned wiki, it's basically a system where more than one person could collaborate, produce something, and that something is mostly in the report writing, organizing, scheduling, whatever it is. Let's try to switch this off first, okay? Once I'm here, mostly I'm not in this page.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Friedberg. I have an educational gaming company. I produce all kinds of technology for education, and they're used in all different levels of learning. But my background, I have a doctorate in molecular genetics, and I've been teaching at university level.
That's an excellent talk.
So what I'm going to talk to you about right now are two web-based technologies that I've used in my teaching that I've found to be invaluable for running university level courses, and really just a very efficient way to communicate with my students and organize my course. The two technologies are wikis and blogs, and they're both web-based technologies, and functionally they're different types of websites. And they can be used in a variety of different ways, but it's about the technology, how you use it, and how you deploy it, and what your kind of content you're working with. The first one I'll talk about is a wiki. And very basically, a wiki is a website. It's a website that's very easy to create and manage. But what's exciting about a wiki is a website that when you build it, it can be built collaboratively. And so a great example of this is Wikipedia. If you go into Wikipedia, there's tons of content on there, very easy to get hold of. The beautiful thing about it is that everybody is contributing to it. Anybody can add content, revise pages. And when you take a concept like that, a platform like that, and apply it to your class or your course, you often have a tremendous amount of information you just need. You need your reservoir of content for your students. So a wiki is a way that you can build that content in a circle, small, and year after year. You can add to it. You can have your grad students add to it. You can have students within your class actually adding and building and modifying your content. And it's a way to actually grow your content base, your resource assets that you need in class over time. Now, one other really nice feature about a wiki or a wiki type interface is the ability to automate. So within a body of text, let's say you're talking about genetics. My background is in genetics, and you come across a paragraph in the paragraph, the word DNA appears. That word DNA can be linked directly to another page that deals just with DNA. Within that page, you can have a hot link that go to other pages. So one of the exciting things about Wikipedia and why it's a very valuable tool as opposed to, let's say, Google, is that you have a way to have non-linear interactive content. And let's start at page 1, page 200. You can go in any direction with the content. It's fast, efficient way to gather resources and information. So take your course. You can have all of your supporting information. You can have your course syllabi. You can have all kinds of administrative content your students need, and they can work with content in a very efficient way and even build and add to it. Now, another technology that can be built into the wiki or alongside it is the concept of a blog. And a blog is very much an information delivery tool. And generally, it's one way. And there are lots of blog technologies that are freely available online, like wikis. And blog technologies can sign up, and on these sites will create a website for you automatically, and customize the look. And most universities will have some kind of blog capabilities built into their systems. So I encourage you to check with your IT departments and see what services you already have available. But basically, a blog is a way for you to communicate linearly with a student. And a good example of this is news items. Let's say you have multiple blogs. You're teaching a course in genetics, for example. You could be having a daily news item that you were talking about, things that are happening in the news. So every morning, once a day, once a week, you can add a piece of content into your blog, and then your students can then go to the blog site and see the posting that you're putting there. This news item, this hot topic, or having an exam next week, whatever you want. It's a one-way linear path to disseminate information to students. The other nice thing about blogs is that they're a great creative tool, and we see all kinds of examples of this online, of people using blogs to provide community. And so in courses that I've taught, I've used blogs not just as an information delivery tool, but as a way to let my students be creative. Instead of writing that report, that lab assignment, I can get them to carry a blog for a period for the semester, the 3 months that we're dealing with the subject. They can actually take a topic and they can follow what's happening in the world, what's happening in research, and post items on that blog. And in some blog software, you can have other people commenting on the post. So it's a way for you to let a student explore a topic, a concept, something that has to do with your class, and it's public, and it's published openly to the community. And you can grade it in that respect, and see what they're writing, and get some kind of a sense of their understanding, the work they're doing, and the level of integration of the content. So in terms of using these technologies, they can do all kinds of different things with them. Wikis take a little bit of time to learn how to actually enter code. It's not really entering code, it's enter information, but if you want a title, you have to put a couple of symbols around the text to say this will be the title, this will be the body paragraph. But once you've gotten it under your belt, it's really easy to pick up, and you can just go with it, and you'll be able to use a ton of more time. Blogs, on the other hand, are very, very easy to set up. They really log in, sign up, create your accounts, and you encourage you to explore both these technologies. There's tons of information online about them, but they can have a dramatic impact on how you manage and organize your class content, but also allow your students to interact with content in a way that, frankly, they're very comfortable with and very used to.
Now, I think you heard the message from this gentleman. One important practice of using Brock and Wiki, okay?
My name is Jeremy Friedberg.
It's that, for example, in the context of your learning in this course, the purpose of the first learning contract, as you can see, is that I invite you to do reading based on the reading list, and I invite you to select a topic and do a notes based on OIA format, and I call this your journal, okay? And then I invite you to share it with your learning partner to get feedback, and then I invite you to write a report based on that topic, okay? And towards the end, I invite you to write a blog. And if you look at the delineations of the work, the blog is often the most important thing, because it distills what you have done over the period of time, and after you have already done all the detailed work, including the report, and then you come here to share your knowledge there. So in the context of a blog, added to the gentleman saying it's normally we cannot learn something in 1 minute or in 1 day or in 1 week. Normally we just keep track of what we can learn every day, and then we update something. And a blog is a very useful tool for individual to keep personal update on a specific topic based on what's happening around us in the world. And the individual student's job to keep a blog on a specific topic is to make sure that you keep all this update and use that as the record to be learning for a specific topic. And as a teacher, that is what I love to like. I love to read, okay? So in the second learning contract, what I would like to tell you is, now that you know the format of the learning artifacts that you need to produce, you can do something just like keeping a blog in a program of a specific topic in your interest. For example, using the topic you propose in the proposal in the first learning contract. And you keep track of what you can discover on that topic using a blog there. And you submit your blog towards the end of the second or third learning contract, okay? That is your individual choice to do it. And normally, a student doing that will obtain a lot of bonus for their work, okay? First, open up a Broker account. Second, use the Broker accounts, create posting based on a specific topic, and then keep track of what you can discover around the world for that topic, and incrementally put in your thinkings there, together with the facts that you gather around, and keep that blog alive by creating different responsive threads to follow up with your blogs. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? This is one important habit of learning that each student should possess. Imagine if you can do it for one topic in a specific course. Normally, in a specific course, you would do it for several topics. And then for every course you're going to take in the college year, you also have different topics. Look at how many blogs you can create in a matter of 4 years, and you need to manage them. That is how you develop your knowledge, and that is how you internalize and externalize your knowledge, by interacting with the world on a specific topic of your interest. In the past, this is the way we learn without technology, because technology comes only towards the 1980. Okay, when we were small, our primary school teacher would teach us, now learn to write a journal, a daily diary. Okay, first, if you do not know what to write, read one newspaper story a day. Just read one in detail. But scan through the newspaper. If you cannot do it every day, at least 3 times 1 week. Look for a story you love to read, okay? And then cut it off. Keep it in your diary and write something in response to reading that particular story. And normally we keep a number of stories, and then we develop the habit of writing diary before we go to bed. And when we grow older, we often cherish our diary, because that is represent a record of our growing up. And when we read more and write more, that's how we improve our literacy. The same for technology, okay? If you want to learn something more about technology today, this is your electronic diary. Okay? And if you do not want people to read it, just say it only for you to read, right? In the blog, you can say only for the writer. Then you can keep a lot of good records of your learning, and you manage them. And I tell you that this is a promise you can promise yourself. When you are about to graduate, when people ask you to show them something of your learning, you can always go back to your very rich archive, your blogging, and select different things and put it in your portfolio, together with pictures of your growth and whatever it is. So the point here is, when you come to do a course like this, my purpose is, can you learn how to develop some worthy habits of learning, which will benefit your life even beyond your college years? Okay, and this is an example of blogs and wiki. What about wiki? Well, you will have friends, okay? And if you keep a blog, you can always keep a wiki with your friends, and the two of you can do something meaningful. If you like drama, people who like drama come together and share news on drama, whatever it is. You can keep different kind of wikis as group-based activities in your RC, in your academic career, and in the context of a classroom. You will observe that studying from week number, actually this week, you already have a wiki, okay? A peer and team wiki. This means you have to start working together with your learning partner to build a wiki. Now I'm going to tell you how to build a wiki on the Moodle environment on Thursday. It's very simple. Just like the gentleman said, you need to learn a very simple technique, and then you can start building up pages upon pages of your work. But, as I said, well, don't expect too much from the wiki from the Moodle environment. This is called a baby wiki. I'm going to introduce you wikis from the outside, which is also from Google. They also have a wiki site, and it's much more professional, so you can always compare. Okay, the Moodle environment is what we call a sandbox. It's a learning environment, and then once you have tasted the blogger or something outside the Moodle, you'd love to use it. Just like people who have used Facebook would always consider the discussion forum with Moodle is very low level. Yeah, because it's very hard to manage, but it's enough in some sense, okay? Because it's building up the habit of learning. That's very important. Now I'm going to stop here today, and I expect that please complete the questionnaire, okay, before the end of today, and by clicking the link, if you have not done it, right here, okay, right here, all right, and then I'll finish watching the bloggers 3-part series on this week, week number 5, day number 9, okay, get some basics on how you can create bloggers and proper account, and make sure you got a Google account, okay? So that's it for today's CISG114 Section 1 Web Technology and Life on February the 3rd, 2015, okay? I see you on Thursday. If you have a question, you can ask me, but let me turn off the camera first, all right?